What up, fifth grade? Welcome to day 5 of Verbs. Okay, so we are doing a very interesting day today, a very interesting topic we have on tap. So, first of all, what are we doing? We are looking at active versus passive voices with verbs. Let's get into it. So, I've got 2 sentences on the board and they say the exact same thing but are worded a little differently. Active and passive voices in verbs, I'm going to actually go by what the book says because I want to make sure that I do not mess this up. So, a verb in the active voice happens when the subject performs the action of the verb. Now, that's here. On the flip side, the passive voice happens when the subject receives the action of the verb. So, let's see what happens. The town was destroyed by the tornado. Now, to kind of relate to this, a good way to see if something is in passive voice with verbs is this word right here, by. And that's tell number 1. Do you see the word by? The microscope was invented by Thomas Edison. That's not true, but I'm going to make up an inventor for that. Not a history teacher, not a science teacher, but the microscope was, how about this? The light bulb was invented by Thomas Edison. We have the verbs was and invented. Those are your 2 verbs. And that word by, which by the way, this is not a verb, by is not a verb, but that tells us that it is in a passive voice. That's tell number 1, looking for the word by. Tell number 2, are there 2 verbs? Was destroyed, was invented with my Thomas Edison one. Now, the town was destroyed, 2 verbs here, and then the word by. That tells us it is in passive voice. But hey, let's look at what happens when we change it to an active voice. So 1, the tornado destroyed the town. These 2 sentences, again, they do say the same thing, but they are written differently. What's different about the active one than the passive? Well, first of all, do you see the word by? I don't. There is no word by in this. And also, your verb destroyed is by itself. Look. The tornado destroyed. What did the destroying? The tornado did. Boom, tornado destroyed. And your passive one, though, that's kind of flipped around. The town was destroyed. Again, this was being destroyed. But what was it being destroyed by? The tornado. And that's where the by the tornado comes in. And the active one, you know the tornado did it from the very beginning. The tornado. What was it? What did it do? It destroyed. But here, what was destroyed? The town. What destroyed it? Well, the tornado did, but that's way at the end of the sentence. To kind of come back to what I'm saying, active is where the verb that is being acted upon, the subject is at the beginning. But with passive, the verb, again, being acted upon, whatever is acting on it, is at the end of the sentence. Another good example, and let me get back to that page so I can read these right out to you, if I can find that real quick. Another example you're going to find a lot are both you can find on the internet, you can find it on a lot of those worksheets, those quiz websites that I find. That's how I was able to learn these again for when I was going to be up here and teaching it. So, here we go. Oh, not the right page, not the right page. Way back here. Way back here. Lord have mercy. All right, here we go. Most of the town was destroyed by the tornado. Copying that sentence. How do you flip that around? The tornado destroyed most of the town. See? Next, the speech was delivered by Dr. Evans. How do we flip that into active? Because remember, if it says by Dr. Evans, it was delivered by Dr. Evans, we know that's going to be passive because of that by. How do we flip that around? Oh, I got it. Dr. Galbraith delivered the speech. There's no by in there. I did flip the sentence, and instead of the person receiving the verb being at the end, it is now at the beginning. So who delivered it? Well, Dr. Galbraith. We put him at the beginning. One more. The judge settles all cases. We're going to have to turn this one into a passive. All the cases were settled by the judge. Let's take a look at something. Destroyed. Your verbs are still in here, but they're in different places. This is the 3rd word in this sentence, while here it's way toward the end. You say what it was destroyed by with your verb in the middle. Here, it's almost at the very beginning of the sentence. Now, that is our chapter for today, and I want to tell you, again, this is very different. This has to do with you flipping sentences around to make them, well, go from active to passive, or sometimes from passive to active. Your Google Forms assignment today is going to have essentially a rundown of sentences that you're going to have to then flip from passive to active or from active to passive. Thinking of one out of my head, let's see. That book was written by J.K. Rowling. Okay, that by tells me that's going to be a passive voice. J.K. Rowling wrote that book. I got rid of the word by, and instead of J.K. Rowling being at the end of my sentence, I made her the subject. J.K. Rowling wrote that book. Remember, we turned that from J.K. Rowling wrote that book, going back to where it said that book was written by J.K. Rowling. The more you practice this, guys, I promise you, the more you're going to get what I'm trying to teach you. Leave you with this. When switching from active to passive, or when trying to see if a sentence is active or passive. For active, there is no word by, and a lot of the time there is just that one verb by itself. But with passive, you're going to have two verbs very close to each other. Was, you're linking, and destroyed, your action, and then look, that by right there. And again, how did I flip it? Oh, that's easy. I brought the tornado to the front of the sentence. The tornado destroyed the town instead of the town was destroyed by the tornado. Hope you guys are having a great day out there. This has been our 5th day of Verbs unit. I hope you guys are having a great whatever day it is out there, and I will see you guys in the next video.